whole idea was every 3-4 years they'll go in and destroy all these infrastructures in Gaza. In 2008, they killed 1,400. 2013, they killed about 2,500, 500 children. So every 3-4 years, they were killing these Palestinians. These Palestinians were stuck in an enclave. It's like a jail. If you look at it, go food not allowed into Gaza, chocolate wasn't allowed, diapers was not allowed.
Dang.
Their water, their food, everything comes in through Israel. They shut it down. They had them on a diet. That's how evil they are. The diet for Palestinians was 2,200 calories. This is before the October 7th. When you go to the doctor, hey, he asks you what the symptoms are. He doesn't say. He was like, "Oh, my head hurts here and my stomach and this and that." You go, "Oh, well, we have to get rid of the disease. We got to give you antibiotics so we prevent all these things you're getting on the side stuff you're getting. That's the only way to cure and let you go home healthy." The cure for this problem is you have to give these people their independence. You can't occupy people for 50, 60 years now and build homes and settlements in their land, kick them out. Even the West Bank, there's no Hamas. So why are the settlers beating up and burning down villages and taking these villages every day since the war?
I don't know what the West Bank is like either at all. There's the West Bank on one side and the Gaza Strip on the other side.
Yeah, the West Bank has no Hamas. They have the PA. They're very
Palestinian
they follow
Authority.
Israel.
The Palestinian Authority. Yeah.
They're like almost like cronies, like the Vichy government, the France, the Germans. Puppets. That's what they are.
Okay.
But they are following everything they're supposed to, and they still taking villages in the West Bank. Look it up, West Bank violence. These settlers from New York, from Brooklyn, all of them, 80% are from New York. They go in there. There are a bunch of Jewish who are misfits in the United States who could not become doctors or lawyers like their other cousins. So what they do is they go in there and try their manhood on people who have no guns, no weapons, can't fight back, and the military supporting them. If you lift a stick, the military gets the machine gun on you. So it is a cowardice. It is a nation built on a nation.
Where do you get that's what's happening?
In the news, just look, West Bank violence. They burn the whole villages. They burn like 70 cars the other day at the whole village.
So they're just poor innocent victims who are just helpless, and so the government is supporting these guys doing this.
They already took over. I don't know, like 10 towns or 10 villages already. Where they harass them, they burn down their houses. They don't let them travel. They don't. If you go, okay, you're a religious person, right?
Yeah.
I want you to go. I'll help. I'll give you $1,000. Okay, I'm going to help you go there, but I need you to go to visit Israel, not through the Israeli agency. Go through the Palestinian agency, and they're going to show you everything what's going on. They have walls. They have roads that have plates where the Jews could drive, but Palestinians cannot drive.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a Palestinian 3 hours in a 20-minute ride to get from one village to another, while the Jewish settler who has no business being there drives right through the highway. That is correct. This is weird. The water. Imagine you have these settlements. They have water. They have pools. They have fountains, and the water is coming from Palestinian villages. And the Palestinians only get 1 day. They got to fill up their tanks 1 day. If they don't fill it up enough, it's over for them. It is so discrimination. It's so evil. It's unbelievable. That's why I always say, you cannot be liberal in America. The Jewish Zionist Jews I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
The American Zionist Jews like Schumann, all these. They're all Zionists. Every
Zionist means Israel. What does Zionist mean?
Zionism is the idea of colonial replacement, to replace the Palestinians with the Jews, to settle the land of Palestine with Jews. It started by Christians in the 1880s and 1870s.
Right.
They were called the Restorianists, or the Restoration, whatever they were called, the movement, and they gave that idea to the Jews.
So therefore expanding Israel into and taking over Palestine.
Yeah, and it's an ethno state.
It sounds like
it's an ethno state. You cannot be here telling me, oh, we got to be multiculturalism, we got to have homosexuality, we got to do this.
I'm not for that.
Because you're in America. But you support Israel not having any of that stuff, and you're a staunch supporter of an ethno state.
I don't know. Israel is pretty liberal. They have the homosexuality and all that mess, unfortunately.
You want to see something? You have the Google on you?
No, I mean, I'm not sure if I want to see it. But
you're not going to see nothing. Just put 10,000 pedophiles in Israel. Good.
Oh no, I've heard of things like that where
No,
I don't
right.
know.
This is the Israeli Jerusalem Post wrote it. Right, 10,000 pedophiles in
I'm not gonna
Israel.
look that up. I'm not interested in that. It's gross.
No, they're not going to show you, but they have
Right.
10,000 pedophiles in a country of 5 million.
I don't know. What's that per
Everybody,
capita?
every kid's butthole is under danger in
Dude,
Israel.
don't talk like that. Don't talk like that,
No,
man.
I mean, it is what it is. You got to
No,
tell
but
what
it's
it
not
is.
what it's not what it is. You don't
It's
have
a
to talk like that.
It's a sick society. It's built on a
Whatever
lie.
I think that you're going overboard with this stuff.
What is that?
Well, first of all, you're going overboard on my show talking like that. I don't want to hear like that.
Okay, I want to apologize.
Yeah, that's
first
vulgar.
of all, but pedophilia is you can say the word, right?
I don't even really want to. I don't even really want to.
What I want to show you is that how society, you told me, is very liberal. It's not that liberal. It is liberal for Jews, but not for Palestinians.
Right.
This is the problem. It's a two-tier system.
Right.
If you're Israeli, enjoy the Jewish democracy. There's a democracy there, but it's for the Jews. But if you're an Arab, you have a lot of problems. You have no schools in your neighborhood. You have no.
But if they're such great innocent people, how come nobody wants them? I don't think you're telling the whole story because you're not really telling me how bad the Palestinians are.
Repeat that again.
You're telling me that the Jews.
No,
Jews
you said why
bad.
nobody wants them.
Why does nobody want the Palestinians? Because they could.
Wait, hold on. Want them for what?
Refugees or anything.
Why should they be refugees? Leave their land and give it to the Jews?
Yeah, because it's so miserable. You told me how bad it is. I would either want to get out of there or find a way to make do.
But it's still you have nationalhood.
You're not telling me why nobody wants them.
There's no reason for everybody to want them. They don't want to leave their land. It's very simple.
You're not telling me what kind of people these Palestinians are. You're telling me all about Israel's being bad.
Per capita had the highest PhD in the world. They're very educated. Palestinians they're not.
If they're so educated, how come they're so helpless?
They're helpless because they don't have no weapons. We give Israel every $4 billion worth of weapons every year free.
So they're
if the Israelis were paying for. If the Israelis were paying for
victims, they're like smart nerds who are just victims.
They are under occupation, my friend.
I know, but you're acting like they're helpless and innocent. But I don't think they're so innocent as you're not even talking about them.
I am talking about. I'm
no,
telling
you're not.
you,
You're talking about how hard they have it. You're not talking about how they are, what type of people they are.
Well, you're gonna have a reaction.
Are they a problem for Israelis?
When we had let me give you an example.
Just tell me, are they a problem for Israelis?
They have to be a problem for Israelis.
So yes, they are a problem for Israelis.
They have to. It's natural. Because they're trying to get them off their land.
And then it's natural for Israelis to be a problem back on them and oppress them, right?
That's not natural because you're being
natural.
What's the word you use? Oppression, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm using the word because what you described sounds like oppression, right? And so they might as well oppress them if they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, but
aren't you giving them aren't you giving an excuse to the police when you fight with the police? These blacks in America, when they fight with the police, they're giving an excuse for the police to
put the smackdown. But the blacks are American citizens. They have the same rights we have. They're just idiots. They're just idiots. That's all it is. But they're full-fledged American citizens, right?
Right.
But the Palestinians are not citizens of anything.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? They don't have the right to vote. They're not part of anything. They are under subjugation.
But you're going back to their victimhood. You're not telling me what type of people they are.
It's not victimhood. It's a natural reaction to an occupation. When we had the Boston Tea Party, why did we have it for?
Because we could win.
No, because we win, because we're against the taxes, right?
But we did win.
Okay, but what was our reaction?
Not winning. We won.
No, I know, but I'm trying to give you.
They protested and then they won.
And what happened? We had a movement, Washington. We have a.
Well, I don't even know if that was a protest. That was just an act of vandalism or something, theft and vandalism.
It is to protest taxation, not representation, right?
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the Boston Tea Party, but I don't see Palestine ever winning because I don't see quality people coming out of Palestine, and I don't see quality people protesting on the university campuses for Palestine. None of them are quality people.
Well. You're not being fair. I mean, I don't want to argue with you.
Yeah. But you're not being fair. You're not being fair either, though.
But the whole issue is, how do I be fair for an occupation and subjugation of another human being?
That's life. Life isn't fair. You get occupied, you get subjugated. Look at America. America is getting occupied worse and worse. You know, you talk about how these immigrants are bringing crime and all that stuff, and they're not
You're
letting.
forgetting immigrants are coming to a land that's not theirs.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The Palestinians are there.
It doesn't matter.
Palestinians have been there since Jesus was there.
Yeah.
These guys are the majority of those Israelis are Ashkenazi Jews from Poland, from Prussia, from Russia, they're not native to the land.
Right, but neither were we Americans when we came in and took over from the American Indians.
Yeah, they came to people walking around naked.
Right, we dominated them. What was wrong with that? I don't think it was wrong.
You gave them chicken pox, they all died. They died more of disease than they died of guns.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it was necessarily wrong that we took over and we dominated. It's better.
So, okay, what should the Palestinian do in your view? I don't want
what the Palestinians should do, if I were a Palestinian, I would try to get out of there.
Why? Why get out of there? For what?
Because it's miserable. You just told me you only get water once a week.
Okay, I'm going to make you a deal. There's 7 million Palestinians.
Yeah.
What state do you want to give them?
I don't want a state. I would just go to Jordan or Egypt or somewhere.
Well, they don't want them. Why you don't want? They don't want. I mean, why?
I know.
How come you don't?
I would sneak in.
How come you don't want? How come you don't want them?
I'm one person. I'm one person, and I would get away some way.
No, I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Since you said the Palestinians should all get out of there, let's give them...
No, I didn't say if they should all get out of there. I said if I were a Palestinian, I would get out of there.
Yeah, but I mean... Oh, no.
Isn't it rough, though? It's a crazy situation.
But it is. That's how struggles are. South Africa had a struggle. All these countries struggled.
Worse off for it.
Algeria lost 1.5 million people against the French because the French settled Algeria for 130 years. They used to say that it's a French territory.
Yeah.
And if we go by your idea that, it's bad, let's leave. No, they fought and they lost 1 million people and they're independent. It is only natural for people to feel they belong to the land, like you and me. We don't want no immigrants to come in our country right now.
But
right?
it's too late. We're helpless to it. And so we either have to bear
but the whole idea, but mentally we don't want them, right? Why we don't want them? Because we love our country, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want, we want to have borders, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The Palestinians can have the same idea. They don't want to be subjugated by Jews from.
But they're not strong enough to fight. They're not strong enough to win their independence. Nor are they decent enough people that they can get enough people on their side.
It's not decency. The whole world is on their side.
No, but they're not. They're not. They don't have the wherewithal to make their own government.
You know who's on the side of Israel.
You know who. You know the story of the Old Testament Bible, where the Israelites were in Egypt. The Pharaoh put them in a corner because he didn't like them. The Pharaoh,
you believe that stuff?
Yeah, no. And then
do you believe the Jews build the pyramids?
Listen to me. No, I don't know. I don't know about the pyramids.
Oh, they say
he put them in a corner, and they thrived. I don't see the Palestinians thriving in their little corner. He didn't treat them fairly either. The Palestinians are not running their own stuff well.
Palestinians are very
and it's not and I seriously doubt that it's just because they're getting treated unfairly.